Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I am Professor Geek, and welcome to another uh, book study. We did miss one, so it's been a little while, but eager to get back into Star Wars Allegiance. I just realized I neglected to put my headphones on. Today's been a weird day. I've been I haven't been rushed or anything, but I've had just enough time to do all the things that I needed to do today, and it's just been bop 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 right up to this point. So, and my crazy introversion, I'm somebody that likes a little time just to veg and center myself. That hasn't happened today, but it's okay. Like I said, hadn't been rushed. Could have been a lot worse. And let me go ahead and went live a few more minutes ahead of time, just so that the channel being live would be out there and more people would get the notification and whatnot. Because I haven't, been very active on the channel, so YouTube's not going to reward my channel for the algorithm and so forth. So we'll see if we got a few people in here now. We'll see how many more join us. But let me go ahead and welcome my faithful co-host in these Star Wars streams anyway, Mr. Darth Sever. Welcome, Dark Lord.
So you've had a weird day.
I know. I thought as I said that, I was like, let's get somebody else in.
You poor, pitiful little professor.
How is your day, Al? How are you holding up?
Sorry you had time for everything you needed to do. Sorry you didn't get a nap.
I know. First world problem. I did get a nap, actually. So what the heck am I talking about? I know. You tell us about your day, Al. How are you holding up?
I'm hanging in there, dude.
Yeah.
Those who don't know, and on my Facebook, my mom went to the hospital this morning. Still not sure what's wrong. Sounds like it could be an infection of some sort. They have her on antibiotics, and not sure if it's the UTI or what was the other thing they said? I don't know. They even thought maybe pneumonia. There's all kinds of stuff that they're thinking. But
one thing, you said that she'd been acting maybe a little spacey, just kind of unfocused.
yeah,
That is something that is like a symptom of UTIs in the elderly. That actually is a common symptom I've heard. So yeah, who knows? We'll see what they.
yeah. She she has a chair in my room. The prof and sound engraver know because they have visited.
Yeah.
It's an old office chair, and that's what she sits in my room like all the time. And she the last few days has been having like gradually more and more trouble standing up.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to raise it, and it just got a little harder for her. But then last night she could not stand up, and she had chills like for about an hour. She was shivering like it was 2 degrees in here, and it was chilly. It wasn't that chilly, and she's like, I just drank something cold. She's just making, I don't know, rationalizing or whatever. But she called me this morning from her room on her phones and saying that there's no way she was going to be able to get out of bed and stand up, and that maybe she should. And it's probably a good thing because her leg was red, swollen. Sounds like it's infected.
Yikes.
They use the term cellulitis as a possibility as well.
So that is.
It's a bacterial infection,
Okay.
mainly in the leg, and you read the list of stuff, and it's like, yep. It's but it sounds like it's just a bad infection. I'm just hoping that she can come, she can get better, and
yeah.
I mean, she's not the strongest person in the world. She's got like arthritis real bad. She is 89, but
sure,
it's my mom.
Yeah,
and that's.
Well, we will keep her in prayer. Hopefully, you'll get some answers in the morning.
Rough day, yeah.
Are you set up okay there at night?
I'm set up fine. I got all my stuff. I had my nurse was here today.
Good.
I get a nurse once a week, and my mother's nurse dropped by and actually stayed, fixed some spaghetti for a few days, and gave me her phone number and saying I need anything, give her a call. And
that's great. That's nice.
She could be here. So
yeah,
she lives very close by, she said. So
That's nice.
That's good to have that as a possible backup. Kind of.
Yeah. Really, thank God for nurses. I mean, seriously,
God bless them, man. God bless
you
them.
know, you're gonna find a bitter one every now and then or a bad experience here and there, but it just takes a special uh personality and kind of compassion to go be a nurse, for a living and
Yeah,
stuff. So they're
yeah.
helpful.
They are underappreciated, underpaid,
Hmm.
but I I've seen what they go through in old age homes
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I was in a nursing home for a while, undergoing
yeah.
rehab, and they some of them old people are feisty.
Yeah. Well, they're losing their minds too, so they're
Yeah.
not themselves. Yeah. 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 Well, we will definitely keep you and your mother in prayer, and hopefully we'll get some good
Thank
news tomorrow.
thank you, man. I and you were talking about possibly canceling this. I think I need something like this. I need
Good. Good.
to talk because it's like nobody here but me now.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's just kind of
Yeah.
freaky.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. So yeah, I'm always a one StreamYard call away. So yeah, at the very least, you're in a much better situation than you were the last time something like this happened. That's for sure.
Yeah, living situation's a whole lot
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Uh, got a couple things coming from Amazon tomorrow that we'll see how that works. I think I talked to you about that earlier. I don't know if I did.
Maybe.
The one issue I have the most difficulty with by myself doing myself. We discussed it.
Okay.
And
Oh,
this,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
I got a
Yeah,
couple devices coming that
gotcha.
hopefully we'll see how it works. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be good. Well, let me go ahead and welcome the chat now that we got some people in here. We do have a lot more watching, apparently, according to YouTube, than who's active in the chat, but that is totally fine. You don't need to be active in the chat. We're just glad you're here. My dear Sound Engraver, first, of course, she said she's stepping away from the keyboard to do some cooking while she's listening, but she does say that you and her mom are in her prayers.
I
Go team,
thank
go!
you, but I have to ask her what's she cooking.
Oh, she'll tell us that when she comes back, I guess. Go team Ghost Planet Go is here, always supportive, and says she's praying. They're praying for you and your mom as well.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
Anakin Solo is with us. Good to see you, Anakin. Anakin asking about the Star Wars trailer, the Star Wars The Old Republic trailer today, the new one. I haven't caught the new one yet. Thanks for mentioning it though, because I will. Like I said, just been busy today, but yeah, I'll definitely look that up. I haven't gotten I with Star Wars: The Old Republic, I worked my way all the way up to I forget the expansion pack that I was on, but it was near the end of what they had already. I had already the Eternal Emperor or the Infinite Empire or whatever. I croppled that. I toppled his son and his daughter and all of that. And I was like waiting to slowly piece together back my crew, as is the case in the storyline. But then it took me so long, like I just had such a break. I got busy with other things and I never got back to it that then I thought, I'm
So
going to start
basic,
from the beginning. I'm going to
so
start from the
basic,
beginning, get the whole
so
story again.
basically, you destroyed a family. Good for you.
They were an evil family. It was the Emperor, the evil Dark Emperor of the Sith.
It's all a matter of perspective.
Well, I did have mercy on his son and let his mother take his son away, and his son came back and helped me. His son was redeemed. So there was all the usual Star Wars themes. BioWare is really, really good about being faithful. I'm a little nervous. I don't know how long BioWare is going to be able to continue to do this little tiny corner of Star Wars without Disney worrying about them or interfering or anything. But as long as they're doing it, they're doing it. So it's kind of cool. So I haven't. Yeah, I need to look into the new one. Yeah. But speaking of Star Wars, we
Mhm.
have
Oh,
more
I'm hoping I
allegiance.
remember what the heck happened.
Well, I've been going through, and now Reed said a couple weeks ago we said we were going to go through chapter 10 through chapter 13.
Yes.
It might be that we only get through chapter 12 tonight. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to make these too long, especially tonight. You and I'll just hang out a bit afterwards. But 13 is pretty hefty. There has to be a lot of kind of reading and stuff too. So we'll see how it goes. But we wrapped up chapter 9 with let me remember. Oh yeah.
Oh, well, we're starting chapter 9.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We wrapped up chapter 8. Yeah. We wrapped up chapter 8 with Han, Luke, and Leia all being sort of commissioned to their different assignments. Han and Luke and Chewie were going to go out and investigate this pirate activity in in the galaxy there near where they were trying to put my glasses on, my headphones on. Hang on. There we go. And then Leia was being sent out to check on the Shelsha sector in this this possible ally they might have in this governor who might be wanting to. Well, we're going to find out he might be wanting to go against the Empire or something like that. So
this is between 4 and 5, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just refreshing my memory.
Yeah. This is right after Scoundrels in terms of the EU continuity. So we do meet. Chapter 9 takes us to this the Shelsha sector, this place that Leia's going to be, eventually are going to find out about, and it takes us to this kind of prime minister, this first counselor. What's his name technically? Chief administrator, Willem Diestra. But the governor's going off blustering about some things. He's unhappy, and Diestra walks out and.
Barshness Chord. What a names they come up with for these guys.
Barshness Chord. Yeah, as the governor. And as we go through these chapters, especially tonight, keep in mind the theme of allegiance, right? The book called Allegiance, and we've been calling out so far how Zahn is weaving together these different threads of characters trying to figure out who am I loyal to? What are my allegiances politically and personally and whatnot as we go through this. And we see that even more here as the plot thickens, because the chief administrator for this sector is very much in conspiracy against the governor, or does his own things. He's walking away from the governor's room, and it says his own office was 2 doors down from the corridor of the governor's far more expansive reception chamber. Humble though it might be, it was still connected to the same warren of secret passageways as the governor's own working and living areas. That meant Diestra's private visitors could slip into the palace unannounced just as easily as Chord's could. And then we find that Diestra has a visitor waiting for him, and it's the infamous Cauldre, this military soldier-like character who's behind the Blood Scars, the pirate gangs doing whatever they're doing that Mara had spied on, and Mara's trying to get to find out who's behind him. He's clearly the agent to whoever the big person is behind all of this that she's trying to figure out. And they have this talk, and as they're talking, Cauldre is a little Diestra's upset, and he's trying to tell get Cauldre's answer. He's like, we've had stormtrooper interference. And Cauldre's like, that's impossible. And he tells him about the appearances they've had, the sightings they've had of stormtroopers. And we're talking about our hand of judgment, right? Our 5 rogue stormtroopers there who had first on that one planet had saved that group of what they thought were farmers from being raided by the Blood Scars. And then they showed up again, or at least stormtroopers somewhere showed up again to take over Cav Saran that we talked about the last portion when they overthrew that little corrupted, mayor or whatever, governor of that little town or sector. So Cauldre's thinking, okay, well, what does he say? I thought you said Imperial. Diestra says, I thought you said Imperial Center wasn't interested in pirates anymore. In general, they're not, Cauldre agreed, but we have taken 8 military transports in the past 8 months. Maybe Imperial Center finally noticed. And we find out that the reason that they have been using these pirates is to kind of hide what they're doing, trying to steal Empire weapons and vehicles and whatnot to amass some sort of coup that's brewing here that we'll find out more about. But they've gotten the Blood Scars involved so they can hit civilian transports and anybody to kind of cover what they're doing, just to make it all seem like pirate activity. But what they figure is that there must be an Imperial agent out there somewhere. That must be what's going on. They must have a spy in the ranks kind of thing. An Imperial agent is out there bringing in the stormtroopers when needed. And we find out a little bit more of the plan when they find out the Cav Saran is gone. Cauldre says, with Cav Saran gone, Diestra says, with Cav Saran gone, we don't have anyone in easy striking distance of that I-7 plant anymore. This plant that they want to hit. Not a problem, Cauldre assured him. It would have been nice to hit the plant from the ground, but we can take it from the sky almost as easily. So we get a little bit more pieces of their plan together. And then we leave them with the knowledge that there's an Imperial agent, with the knowledge that they need to kind of, figure out what's going on and put some feelers out. And that brings us right over to Mara. Remember, last time we left Mara, she was hiding out on the pirate ship. She had, finagled her way in, hunting down this trail. The Emperor's given her this task, lets her do this task to try and find out what's going on with these appropriated funds and everything like that. And she does find herself on this pirate ship, and she's doing well. For a few days, she's keeping hidden. she's her own training and everything is doing fine. But suddenly there's she's in this little hiding place in the storage place, and then suddenly there's a grenade pops in. She hears people come in, and they're heading soft footsteps heading directly towards a stack of crates where Mara's hiding. And you really get to see her training, which is so good here. And again, she's not Jedi trained or really Force, but she's a little bit of Force trained. She's not properly Sith trained because, again, there's only one master and one apprentice, but you can have these lackeys. They're sort of trained in the Force. Basically what Mara is at this point.
Force sensitive, basically.
Yeah. Sure enough, a second small. All right, so she rose slightly into a crouch, making sure her blaster and lightsaber were near at hand. Pressing her back against the wide barrel and held up the center of her burrow's ceiling, she prepared herself for combat. Their first move would probably be some sort of grenade. And sure enough, a second later, a small concussion grenade dropped neatly through one of the air gaps she'd left between the crates and the center of the deck directly in front of her. Instantly, she twisted to her right, rolling backward on her shoulders and kicking her legs into a tightly curled back tuck over her head. Halfway through the backward somersault, she twisted again, this time to her left, bringing her legs down and shoving over the deck with her left shoulder and forearm. She had just rolled up into a new crouch on the far side of the barrel when the grenade went off. The blast was deafening, the impact lifting crates of the roof a few centimeters and driving the supporting barrel hard against her back. The shock was too much for the delicate equilibrium she'd set up, and even as she pushed herself away from the barrel, the whole burrow collapsed. The two crates directly above her tipped over their supports and toppled onto her head. Stretching out with the force, she deflected them to either side past her shoulders. It would have been simpler to use the force right from the beginning, to grab the grenade and throw it back out of her burrow. But that would have alerted her attackers to the fact that their prey was onto them. Now they would come in less cautiously, expecting to find their victim helpless or dead, drawing her blaster. Mara stood. So I like that, just thinking that one step ahead, you get really... I love this book because we see her in action as the Emperor's Hand, and get to see how efficient she was.
Yeah, she's not stupid.
She does have this battle with them, and she takes them all out pretty handily. She does leave one alive, and she's using a little finesse with him since he's the last one, and she takes him out, and he's going to end up being her hostage here. Tanis is his name, as we'll see. But it's a great. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's a really cool scene on how she takes out this ship. She uses the force. She blows the air hatch and everything. She does these really cool things to kind of basically just cripple this ship. And she's got a couple of the pirates be out there in space, being spaced right now in their flight suits and whatnot. So. Then she goes on comm to call the ship that they were hitting, because they were about to hit a ship. That's what their mission was out there to do. They're about to rob this ship of some was it AT-ATs or ATSTs? I forgot. ATSTs. Yeah. Delivered.
Those little chicken walkers, right?
Yeah. And this other ship that Mara's calling, she calms them, and she said, we're here. We're the ones who stopped the attack on you, and the ship says, okay, is leery of it and everything. And she won't really tell the ship much of who she is, but she says, go check your data banks and find out where the closest Imperial ship is. We do find that there's an Imperial destroyer close by. She says, contact them and then have them contact me.
The Reprisal.
The Reprisal, which is our ship that our 5 stormtroopers had, defected from. So I love this. This is, again, we get to see finally the inner workings of the Emperor Hand politics at work here, because she's sitting there. She's talking to Tanis a little bit, her hostage. This mission was already way too interesting for her to risk that. Ma'am, Captain Norello's voice came from the speaker. That's the captain of that ship. I have the Reprisal on comm. Link me through, then turn off your speaker, Mara instructed him. I'll flash my landing lights when you can come back on. Yes, ma'am. There was a click. This is Captain Ozzel of the Imperial Star Destroyer Reprisal, a gruff voice said through his speaker. Who in blazes is this? The recognition code is Hapspur Barini Corbalin Triaxis, Mara said. Do you need me to repeat that? No, Ozzel said, his brusqueness suddenly gone. What shall I call you? Emperor's Hand, Mara told him. You have our current coordinates? We do, Ozzel confirmed. then break off your current activity and come here at your best speed. I mean, that's like some serious authority, you know, just like, you know, you Imperial Star Destroyer, stop whatever it is you're doing.
A few words, and you know, it's out there. It's like, you hear
Exactly.
these words, you do exactly what that person says.
Exactly. And even Tanis is a little like, Emperor's Hand. That was supposed to be a myth or whatever, you know, her hostage there. So she has him come on the way here. You know, she's got a plan going. So the ship is on its way there to her. Then we cut to Captain Ozzel's perspective there, and he's there with the chief. What's his name?
Back Someril.
Sormaril, yeah, Sormaril, who's the chief of the IBS. Remember that the IBS were kind of taking over, sort of, but you know, overseeing this mission that started, that the reprisal was on, and it was the IBS agents that Larone and those of our usual our Emperor's Hand, our Hand of Judgment, rather.
Kind of like the KGB of Empire.
Yeah, exactly. And they were the ones that our Hand of Judgment, you know, who went on to be the Hand of Judgment, our 5 defectors had a problem with. So that's what's going on. It says Captain Ozzel switched off his office comm and looked at the main man seated on the other side of his desk. The Emperor's Hand, he said, with a shiver running through him. Calm yourself, Captain, Imperial Bureau Security Chief, or Vax Someril silently replied sternly. I've heard nothing in that conversation that indicated she knows about our deserters. So they're worried because they've got these 5 deserters who killed an IBS agent and stole this amazing IBS ship. You know, they haven't reported it. They never reported it because that would reflect poorly on them, and that they're going to try to cover this up. And now we find to what extent they're going to try and cover this up. Someril asked Ozzel, Captain Ozzel says, Horizon Talker said, I did not know this. Fun fact, Ozzel is the admiral Vader strangles after the rebels escape on Hoth. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I know the name was familiar. I remember.
I didn't put that in my head.
Oh,
yeah. I never put that together in my head. So this is the admiral in Empire Strikes Back that Vader strangles for being so incompetent. Okay, so he doesn't get away with things much longer. But anyway, we know here that they decide to. Okay, Someril tells Ozzel who knows about our missing stormtroopers, who knows about the dead IBS agent. And he says something like, well, it's the medic and the tech that found him, you know, 2 to 3 people, whatever. And Someril just says, okay, we'll have them killed. And, and you know, we'll erase this. We'll fix it in the logs of the ship that those 5 troopers were away with that IBS agent on that ship for a special assignment. And that's what they fixed because they're trying to cover their tracks because they've got this Imperial agent who's soon going to be aboard their ship, you know, so they need to cover things. And you get to the extent of how evil things are, you know. And Ozzel's
very nefarious here.
Yeah, and Ozzel's not too happy about, you know, this, but he goes along with it because he'd rather do that than save his skin. So you get the level of evil of these, or the level of corruption, rather, you know. Chapter 10. That brings us to our second chapter of the night. Pop my mic there. Okay, there we go. Now we rejoin our Hand of Judgment, and they had decided they just overthrew Cav Saran. They were going to save this planet they were on there, this sector they were on there from that tyranny, and they decided that they're going to go ahead and look into the pirate activity. They're not going to try and do anything that would get them too recognized, but they need to look into this pirate activity. They still believe in the what they thought was the original mission of the Empire and the Stormtroopers, which was to protect and serve people. You know, that's it. We'll get a little snippet of Han here in a second, kind of summing that up. Then they realize that their empire is corrupt, so that's why they, you know, forced by circumstances to defect. But you get the idea that the seeds were planted there already within them. So they're doing some searching and whatnot on this planet. But then we find out that Larone and Larone goes to meet Grave, I think, in this Tap Caf, which is like a cafe bar, you know. It's not a cantina, but it's like they call them tap cafes in the EU. And he goes to meet him there, and then Grave tells him, well, yeah, but check out these people I'm looking at. Look at that table right over there. Do you recognize any of those? And it's a table with a human, a young guy, an older guy, a little more gruff and world weary, and a Wookiee. and that we find out that's Luke, Han, and Chewie. But it's the other guy that draws their attention. It's one of the farmers that they saved on that previous planet from the pirates. And now they're realizing, okay, was he in with the pirates? What's going on here? Why is he here and not there? If he was just a farmer, he wouldn't be all the way over here, and so forth. The plot thickens when they're casing the room a little bit more, and they find out, well, there's this group over here with a Rhodian and a couple of others, and they look like they're kind of casing the joint. And are they going to rob the place? Well, no, they're staring at these other people over here who are clearly security type, off-duty security type in the area. And they put it together that, oh, someone's going to rob the repository in town there. And these individuals are there to kind of keep an eye on these security men to make sure they don't get out and get involved and, take care of them if they need to. Horizon Talkers is Tapcast or the Star Wars equivalent of Applebee's. That's a good way of thinking about it. Yep.
Wonder how many hot wings Chewbacca would eat.
A lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then, all right, now this is interesting. So Lerone said, now they're just there to hunt for information about the pirates. And wait a second, Grace said, Franny. Lerone, so Lerone's talking to Quiller, who again is the ship captain. He's talking to him on the comm, and he says, he calls Quiller, where are you? On my way back to the Sawantech, their ship. Quiller's voice came back. I wasn't able to. I know, Grave told me. Grave told me. Lerone cut in. Get back fast. We're going to need some air power. Wait a second, Grave said, frowning suddenly. Lerone, on my way, Quiller said, his voice suddenly tightened and professional. Where and how much? The Consolidated Repository on Newmark at the northern edge of the city, Lerone told him. Looks like someone's planning a hit. There was a pause. And we're getting involved. Why? So again, why are these stormtroopers who are trying to hide themselves still getting involved again? Because helping Consolidated nail the raiders may help lube the wheels to get us into the HoloNet and autopsy data they're still sitting on. So he's justifying it that it's a way to help them get the pirates. But we do know that they've got a conscience. So interesting enough, though, we switch perspectives now to Luke. And I love this because this is we get to see, just with the original trilogy, it's wonderful, but we know that there's a lot of empty space in between the films in which Luke is being trained into his Jedi powers, somewhat between episode 4 and 5 here, but a lot more so between 5 and 6 and so forth. Al, can you move the mic a little bit from your nose or mouth there?
Sorry, I was taking a big breath there. Sorry.
No, it was a little bit before that too, but yeah, just checking on that. So Luke's there talking, and they're finding out from Porter, because we know from before that farmer who they saved, the stormtroopers saved from the pirates, was actually an Imperial agent smuggling weapons into the rebellion, to the Alliance. And they're talking about that, and suddenly Luke, trying to find it. All right, so they're sitting there, and Luke hears Obi-Wan's voice. Luke started, his eyes flicking around before he recognized the voice. It was Ben Kenobi, speaking in his mind as he had during the attack on the Death Star. There is danger, Luke. Stretch out to the Force. And Luke is, what kind of danger? What are you talking about? And he finally has to settle himself down and just do what Kenobi tells him to do. Images and voices around him seemed to fade into the distant background. He looked around again, trying to see through the faces and emotions, the basic overall impressions of the Tapcast patrons, but he didn't sense anything. For that matter, he wasn't even sure what exactly he was seeking. And then abruptly, an image flashed into his mind. A picture of a hungry, shaggy, furry predator coiled to spring onto its prey. He caught his breath as the image faded. What in the world's? He smiled tightly. Of course, it was a hint. He let his eyes. So it was a hint that something's about to go down. There's some danger about to coil into spring. And he recognized it. And Luke senses this Rhodian and his crew over there. They're about to hit the place. They're about to do something. And they find out what's going on. He tells Han and realizes, oh, something's about to go down. And Han says, terrific, Han growled. This place got a back door? Right through there, Porter said, pointing to a curtained doorway at the side of the bar. Good, Han said, starting to get up. Nice and easy. Wait a second, Luke objected. We're going to run? From a bank robbery, Han countered. You bet. But we have to help. Which side? Han retorted. Robbers against a big corporation? Big choice. That's not fair, Luke objected. He's right, kid, Porter put in nervously. Besides, we're trying to keep a low profile, remember? Luke grimaced. His words to Ben on Tatooine went through his mind. I can't get involved. Yet if he hadn't, Tarkin and the Death Star would have won, and Leia and Riken and hundreds of others would now be dead. Fine, you keep your low profile, he said. I'll do it myself. Across the table, Chewbacca rumbled a protest, his massive paws batting at Han's arm. Oh, Han broke off, glancing up at his partner. Chewie, oh, all right. You two stay put. Chewie and me'll handle it. Solo, Porter began. Or go ahead and run, Han cut him off. I don't care which. But I want to help, Luke objected. Then find a way to distract them, Han said. Come on, Chewie, let's get this over with. So they're having the same discussion that the Hand of Judgment. This mic, sorry, folks, you're going to hear a little bit of crinkling here for a moment as I turn tighten this thing. All right, hopefully that'll help. It's so easy to knock off course there. But they're having the same discussion here that the Hand of Judgment, that the stormtrooper, the ex-stormtroopers are, really, we're going to get involved in that, but Luke's got that conscience. Now, Han, you think about allegiance. So Luke's allegiance is just to help people, to help the innocent. Han's allegiance, we're seeing it slowly grow into more of, yeah, I am one of the Alliance. And we don't really see that fully until like Empire Strikes Back, but we're getting him to that point because he's loyal to Leia. He's certainly loyal to Luke, even though Leia gets under his skin. So we're seeing that, but Chewie's right on board. Chewie's got the conscience. He's the conscience of the two. We're here to help, Also, we're told earlier because of how the Empire's treated Wookiees, so he's certainly on board with that. So they see all this, the stormtroopers see all of this go down, and it's pretty neat how things happen. Luke distracts them by lighting his lightsaber, and it's really cool. It talks about the sound of a lightsaber clicking to hiss, had not been heard in that sector since before the Clone Wars even, or whatever, so it's it's a good distraction. So the Han and Luke and Chewie get out. Okay, Larone has Quiller try to find them and track them a little bit. So they're being tracked. Larone still doesn't know who these guys are or what their deal is, but they're clearly, they stopped a robbery, so they got to be some sort of, nobility to them. Han then is talking to Porter afterwards. He says the Pernum attack wasn't from the blood scars. No, she says we're trying to lock down this blood scar thing. He wants him to go to Pernum sector, where they found the Pernum, the blood scars were. But the Pernum attack wasn't from the blood scars, Caseman objected. Han rolled his eyes beside him. Chewbacca warbled a soft, contemptuous growl. Couldn't these idiots see it? Look, Han said, pitching his voice as if he were talking to a small child or a mid-level bureaucrat. We don't know where the blood scars are, but you and Porter seem to think they're trying to snap up other fringe groups. Maybe they're trying to recruit the Pernum gang, and we do know what where that group hangs out. So they're going to a place where they think the blood scars are recruiting. We skip perspectives again in this chapter to Mara now, and Mara is aboard the Reprisal. She's talking to Captain Ozzel and what's his name? Sokoa? That was it, right?
I don't know.
I think it was Sokoa. Vac Sokoa. Yeah. She's talking to them, and she says, "I'll need 2 crewers, 2 soldiers, men who can both fight and handle a ship this size." Because she gets this, they're going to take the Happer's way. Their plan is that Mara, with these 2 troopers that she's going to get, and Tanis, her hostage, she's convincing him, we'll go through this in a moment, how she's convincing him to work with her for amnesty. They're going to go take that ship that this pirates were trying to capture, take it back to the headquarters of the Blood Scars, all the way back to the headquarters, and claim that, yeah, there was some trouble, but, we're back with your prize here. They got this plan that I'll talk about here in a moment. But Sokoa says he's going to give her the 2 crewers she wants, but he's going to give them from ISB, loyal to him, rather than just troopers there on the ship. Because as we find out, their job is going to be to sabotage or kill her, get rid of the Emperor's hand, the Imperial agent, so that no one, is there to kind of testify to any of that. Now, as he's planning that, Mara looks around, pursing her lips. Mara keyed for the bridge log and repeated her search. She's looking for Vac Someril, the name of this guy. Again, nothing. Switching the flight log, she searched for arrivals and departures. There, finally, she found something. There were still no names, Someril's or anyone else's, but a little over 2 standard weeks earlier, 8 non-military vessels had arrived aboard the Reprisal and been given berths in Hangar Bay 5. One of the ships had left 3 days later. That's our Sawantech with our troopers on it. Though under odd circumstances and with some apparent contradictions in the sequence of log reports. The other ships were still aboard. Put together, the pattern that was obvious. Colonel Solmeril and his specialized stormtrooper contingent were Imperial Security Bureau. Mara wrinkled her nose in disgust. ISB was, I keep saying IBS, I think, which is irritable bowel syndrome, but yeah, ISB. Probably, pretty accurate for them. ISB was a necessary evil. She knew, though, to her mind, there was too much evil and not enough necessity in the mix. So even she's against the idea of the ISB. Her own limited experience had found them to be generally arrogant, heavy-handed, and overly proud of their elite status. And there was the prestige of political advantage to be had. She could be trusted to be the first in line. If there was prestige or political advantage to be had, they could be trusted to be the first in line. Probably why Someril had maneuvered himself ahead of the reprisals' official stormtrooper commander to offer a combat force to the Emperor's hand. So she figures out that these are ISB agents coming with her, not actual troopers, but she thinks it's just because they want prestige. They're just trying to get in and get the prestige of being with the Emperor's hand. She hasn't. One of the Mara's faults in her character is that she doesn't see the evil of the Empire. She certainly doesn't see the evil of the Emperor. She thinks everything's fine, and she thinks the Emperor's system works pretty well. She couldn't conceive of troopers trying to kill her. What do you mean? But they're part of the Empire, So she's a little naive in that sense. So she tells Tanis, her hostage there, the plan. She says, "We're taking the Happer's Way to your base," Mara told him. "After suffering damage to his hyperdrive and comm system in the battle, your friend, Captain Shako, his captain that is now dead, decided to send you home with the prize while he and the rest of the crew stayed behind to make repairs." And then we get more of it. "So where did you come from?" Tanis says. "My men and I were hijackers who sneaked aboard the Happer's Way," Mara said. "We were making our move when you showed up, which is why you were able to capture the ship without having to first blast into it, worthless hulk. We'd heard about the blood scars and made a deal with Shako for you to take us up to the Commodore to discuss our joining up, because they know that the blood scars are trying to get people to join up, So he's going through this, and Mara explains the whole plan to him. And Tanis says, okay, she's like, "What? These are your options. You can either do this for me and get a full amnesty, or, none at all." And Tanis has been pretty shrewd in negotiating for this full amnesty. And Tanis snorted, "Do I have a choice?" "Sure, you can start your sentence today," Mara said. No thanks, he said. And in his eyes and altered tone, Mara knew he'd suddenly realized he had a third option: to betray her to the rest of the blood scars and use his 30-day grace period to find a place to hide. "I'm in." "Good," Mara said, stepping over to stand in front of him. "And just so we're clear what exactly it is you're agreeing to." Dropping her gaze to his binders, she reached out with the force and unfastened them, letting them drop, clattering to the deck. For a handful of heartbeats, Tanis stared down at them, the muscles in his neck suddenly taut. Then slowly he lifted his eyes to hers again, and whatever thoughts he might have had about betrayal were suddenly gone. "Vader," he whispered. You're like Vader." "Only better," she said coolly, part of her mind wondering what Vader would do if he ever heard her talk that way. But what the Sith Lord didn't know wouldn't hurt him.
Yeah, I think he'd have an issue with it.
Yeah, probably. But it's pretty clear how Tanis is terrified into obedience to her now. So, because the stories of Vader are legend. He can read your mind, all these kind of stories that will come out, about him or whatever. Then at the end of the chapter, we do get Captain Ozzel talking to Someril again, and we find out that the two men he sent with her are ISB agents, and they're going to try to kill her, sabotage everything as it goes on. Brings us to chapter 11. To
11?
Yeah.
Goes to 11?
Exactly. We are here with Leia is now, we're back with Princess Leia, and she's meeting the Shiv Kairi is this alien that she is supposed to meet, who has this wonderful opportunity for the allegiance. For the alliance, excuse me. They're having trouble maintaining presence in the Shulsha sector and they're trying to wonder, is it really even worth it to keep our resources here? We want to keep as many people in the alliance as possible, but it's really becoming a burden. But this Shiv Kairi character tells them he's got a great a great opportunity. So she's talking to Shiv Kyrie, and I've got here. Let me see if I can. It's been a while since I shared screens with StreamYard. Screen window Chrome tab is what I want. Yeah. So Shiv Kyrie is the is an. Nope, that's not it. There we go. Yeah, he is a not an Alderaan. That's her planet. A Darien. Here's an example. Here's a picture of the alien. Just kind of give you some images. A Darien, what he looks like, and his culture is incredibly worried about honor. There's kind of like Japanese culture cranked up like exponentially to 50 or whatever. They're so terrified about rank and honor, and there's also this like caste system to it, and he sees Princess as is above him, so he's going to try and do everything he can for her honor, and like she must stay with him at his house, stuff like. We'll learn more about that, but just a little bit of what's going on with Shiv Kyrie there. He's got two of these associates who are also from the sector, and one of them is an Ishi Tib, Tillis Solani, the Ishi Tib, and then this is what they look like there as they says as they talk. They've got this flapping sound with that flap of their mouths there. There's also a Mungra.
He's a handsome fella,
isn't he? Though. There's also a Mungra from the sector too. Mungra, a Mungra, and I could not find any images of a Mungra to save my life. I don't know if they're out there. Maybe some of you EU experts can let me know about that, but I couldn't find any. But he's described as sort of a shaggy type of alien.
Mm-hmm.
So Mungras were one of the two species native to Shell Spectre. So they're in this sector. Now, we hear about the tensions here. Again, the tensions of allegiance. Shiv Kyrie says they've got this opportunity. It's with that we need to go there. The governor basically might be wanting to dissent against the Empire and join the alliance, which would be amazing. But that's a lot of trust. I mean, this is Princess Leia of all people going there, and she's not just ready to throw everything in and go for this yet, nor are the Ishi Tib or the Mungra quite ready for this. But Shiv Kyrie's like, no, of course, this is honor. He said he would do it and everything. So I've got it on the highest, council that he'll do it or whatever. So they agree to go and just check it out. So that's that first part, just agreeing that, Leia, Shiv Kyrie, and the other two are all going to go there together. We switch perspectives again to Luke. And Luke's on the ship. And this is just a tiny little section here where Luke and Han and Chewie are on their way to where they knew that the Blood Scars were going to be recruiting different little gangs to see if they could join up. And Han asks for where Luke is. The ship's almost there. And Chewie says, oh, he's in the back. He's training. And Han says, Han grumbles about what again? He growls, and the Wookiee rumbled a logical question. No, I don't know where else he would practice, Han admitted. But who says he has to practice aboard the Falcon at all? What happens if he slices through a wiring conduit or hydraulic line or cuts off his own arm? Still, he had to admit that Luke was getting better with the ridiculous weapon. Those first few times old Kenobi had run him through the drill, the kid had blocked maybe one attack in 10. Now, as Han watched, the remote launched a 6-shot attack, only one of which got through. He could still cut off his arm, he muttered. Chewbacca warbled a reminder. So I just like that little bit of slowly begrudging respect that Han has for Luke's Jedi stuff. We'll see that grow throughout the original trilogy, even.
Yeah, I mean, a small space on a freighter swinging a lightsaber. Mm-hmm. I'd be a little nervous if I were Han too.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that from a captain's point of view there.
I mean, because the thing's held together by wire and good intentions.
Yeah. Tricon 40, this might have been a little older comment, but I just saw it there. Chewie is Han's Jiminy Cricket. He's the conscience of the two. All right, so then we cut over to now when Larone had told Quiller, the captain, to map, follow them, and they did sort of set a trajectory of where the Millennium Falcon went off to kind of guess where it was going. And our hand of judgment here with the Swantek, they are there waiting. They got there finally, and they're waiting. And there, Marcross said, pointing ahead out of the canopy, one freighter dead ahead. Got it, Quiller confirmed, his fingers tapping the way across his board. it's not our Corellian. It looks like it's a Suranoan of some kind. So this is another ship out there, pirate ship or gang ship or whatever. And they say is our easy pickings. In other words, when exactly is the Corellian due? That's the Millennium Falcon. Assuming he stayed with the speed he was doing when he jumped, he could be here any time, Quiller said. If he really pushed it, he might conceivably have come and gone already. So they're talking about the ship there. And then eventually there was still a trill from the board. Company, Quiller said, peering at his displays, coming out from the cluster of asteroids to the starboard. I see them, Lerone said grimly. There are 2 ships swinging into view, patrol boats of some sort, sleek and fast and heavily armed. These are the pirates are coming there. And I'm trying to find the point where what about the Corellian, Grave asked? Okay, so the Corellian, so Han does show up. I'm trying to find the point where they see him. I'm trying to find. I can't find it right now, but they're shocked that the Millennium Falcon got there so fast. So like, how could it have gotten here before us? But the Millennium Falcon's passed the ship around, and so they're gonna engage in battle for the pirates there. And then Quiller asked, "Do you have any preferences to which ships live through the next few minutes?" Lerone studied the situation unfolding in front of them. Standard military procedure would call for disabling all 3 suspect ships, if possible, and sorting our friend from foe later. But until he'd worked through his own vague feelings and impressions of the Corellian and his friends, go for the 2 patrol ships, he ordered. We know they're pirates. Target their engines first and try to disable at least one without blasting it to rubble. What about the Corellian? Grave asked. Leave him alone for now, Lerone said. Don't fire on him unless he fires on us first. So that we got this uneasy, kind of possible alliance understanding coming up between the 2 there. Han tells Luke, go get on your the guns and whatnot, and Luke hears Kenobi's voice again. Luke. Yes, I know, Luke muttered, focusing his thoughts on the pirates. Don't focus, Ben's voice admonished. Not yet. First, seek out and identify all possible threats, wherever they may lurk. So he senses these minds behind him in space. So he senses the Sawantech. He senses our stormtroopers there. And then, Luke, now focus your thoughts. Luke grimaced again. Now Ben wanted him to focus. But as he focuses on them back there, he realizes they're not a threat. They're not there to kill him. They're not people that he has to try and shoot out of the sky. So Ben helping him, adjust all of this. So it's a really cool little scene. They take it's some cool stuff that happens in the battle. They take out these pirate ships. The Millennium Falcon latches onto one because they're there to question these pirates too. And then, will you look at that? I like as the Millennium Falcon brings its guns to bear. Will you look at that? Quiller muttered at the Sawantech, drove hard toward the battle. 2 quad lasers. That's what a 3-year prison sentence right there. Probably, but it beats getting thrown out of the sky. So they're marveling at the modifications the Millennium Falcon has undergone. You got really loud there all of a sudden now.
I did?
Yeah.
Sorry, I popped my microphone up like
gotcha.
At eye level. So can you hear me all right?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
No worries. Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear me breathing. That's fine.
No, it's fun. Because I can always take your volume down if you need to shift it. No worries. And so they find this way of doing it. They're if this pirate ship, this is interesting. There's one pirate ship that could come up next to the Millennium Falcon and probably easily take it out, but they figured no, that's where the commander of the pirates are in. Lerone felt his lip twist. Typical. Hitting defenseless freighters was fine, but when it came to a real fight, pirates generally showed themselves to be cowards at heart. So they figure all of this out, what they're doing. And
yeah, they're just outclassed.
Yeah. All right, and the Sawantech comes in and helps destroy the other ship. The pirate turrets were still lining up for their own salvo when the Sawantech coming up from behind blew it to dust. Han peered out the other ship. If there'd been any doubt that the Sawantech wasn't with their pirates, that pretty well ended the question. So he knows that the Sawantech's not pirates anyway, but there's still this unease, this mistrust between the 2. Who are you really working for? Who are you really working for? Who's your allegiance? Well, where's your allegiance? Again, this theme of allegiance. And we'll see it kind of continue to build throughout. I think we probably will stop with chapter 12 here, our last one that we're about to get into. So I don't think we'll get to 13 tonight, but we'll talk about 13 next time, because 13 requires a little time, I think. That's with Mara and being interrogated by the Commodore of the pirates there. So here, chapter 12 opens up. Well, at the end of chapter 11, rather, the Sawantech calls the Millennium Falcon, says, "We'd like to question those pirates. Don't kill them." And Han says, "Well, we're questioning them too, so sure, no problem." And the Sawantech says, "Well, we're going to question them first." So they bring the pirates onto the Sawantech. So Quiller, Larone, all of them, Grave, they bring them onto the Sawantech there, and they're questioning them. And we find out that they were there for a meet, because a meeting of the Blood Scars was there to recruit them, and they were there. Some guy named Caldra was trying to recruit them. So we hear our Caldra name again. We do for this one part. Larone leaned over and touched the intercom. "Quiller, did anything come on the search?" Because they're trying to figure out who this Corellian and his team is. "The human Wookiee one came up negative," Quiller's voice came back. "You want me to try human Wookiee? Could be they picked up a friend." And if they did a search for known human Wookiee teams, of course it would come up Han Solo, the big bounty on his head and everything, and Chewie. But he says, "Now let's hold off on that for now," dipping into the Imperial databases.
But talk about racial profiling. Human Wookiee.
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of a bot there on the channel. One of those link bots there. So I'm trying to find a good part here. So they interrogate the pirates, then they call Han over and say, "Okay, well, you guys want to come over?" And Han's like, "Well, we got some problems here. We're trying to fix our hyperdrive and so forth." And he says, "Well, you should come on over now," that and question them. Kind of, insists that they come over. So Han and Luke come over. Luke's still, Chewie's still in the Falcon. They're talking to him. They have this whole conversation. It's really great. What's going on? Luke knows that these are no threat. They're not pirates. These are no threats to him. Han's not so sure. So Han's playing it really coy. And they ask, where's your other, who's with you? And he says, "Well, there's my first mate, Chewbacca," Han said. "That's the Wookiee you saw on Drunos," Luke added. Han threw the kid a warning look, but Larone merely smiled. "Good, you remember us, One of the all right. So then they're asking about who was your other friend, Porter, who was out there still on the ship, And he said, "Just one of the locals," and so forth, trying to play this off. And there's this one point where Han is trying to. He realizes that they're so suspicious of us that they must be pirates themselves or whatever. So he's backing up towards the hatch and he's trying to catch Luke's eye. Okay, we're going to make a quick escape here. But Luke just isn't playing along. And as he's trying to make like the real dash, then abruptly Luke's hand snaked out to grab his left arm. "It's all right, Han," he said to staring at Larone. "They're not with the Blood Scars." And Han, "Who said they were?" So Han is pretty ticked at Luke right now because he doesn't understand that Luke's got this knowledge.
Luke is sensing everything.
Yeah. But they're still suspicious of Han and them. And he says, "Well, if we went and searched your ship right now, will we find anything that shouldn't be there?" "Absolutely not," Han assured him. "For a change, it was even true. We're not smugglers," because at this moment they're not. They're fighting for the Alliance. And then Larone says something interesting. He says, "Of course not," Larone said. "Back to the Blood Scars. You genuinely think they're trying to create their own little copy of the Rebel Alliance here on Shelsha Sector? Remember that Larone and his defecting troopers there, they have a very poor view of the Alliance. They think the Alliance is just terrorists, as they would from their perspective at the time with what they knew. But Han says, "I'd call it more like a Hutt pyramid," Han said. A small part of his mind wondering why he found Larone's comparison so irritating. Certainly that was what the Rebel Alliance was when you boil it down, a big illegal group of lots of other illegal groups. But yeah, I think they could be trying something like that, So Han slowly kind of taking issue that someone would say something bad about the Alliance and then mad at him for himself for, having any allegiance there. There will get growing allegiance in Han that we're going to see take out more in Empire Strikes Back. So they share a little bit of information there. The troopers, their lie they tell Han and Luke is that we're with Consolidated Shipping Security. So there was shipping security who's been trying, investigating all these stolen ships and stolen goods. "Oh," Han said, the hairs in the back of his neck starting to tingle. "Well, I guess you're all right then. I told you they were, Luke murmured. Han grimaced. Yeah, the kid had said it all right. Problem was, the kid was wrong. Because Han still senses there's a lie. There's something off. They're not pirates, obviously, but there's something different they're not telling us.
Yeah.
And they sense the same thing from Luke and Han. Han gazed at him, a bitter taste of distant memory welling up on the back of his tongue. He'd had the same noble fervor once, back before the Empire's basic fundamental cruelty had finally gotten through to him. And it was a righteous passion no pirate or raider could ever counterfeit. Whoever these men were, they weren't the Bloodscars. So he says, all right, well, let me use your comm. He's going to kind of prove that they're at least on the same side here. He comes through to Porter, the other guy out there, and gets the location. He says, Luke says something. Luke says, well, this is what we could do. Han says, no, don't pay attention to him. And Luke uses the comm. He calls Chewie, who gets through to Casement, their friend out there. Our friend in the freighter out there, Han said, Casement, it's Solo. About time, Casement's voice growled. Are you all right? Chewbacca said you'd gone aboard the Sawantech. We're fine, Han interrupted. Porter said you had a brush with the Bloodscars off Ashkoskov. Is that how you pronounce that? Ashkoskov. I hear that, Prince.
I'm trying to find it.
Anyway, did you get their vector when they left? All right, so Han's asking them, when you had this brush with the pirates, did you get their vector? Did you find out what direction they went into? I suppose, Casement said. Do you want me to send you the vector? If you haven't got anything better to do, Han said, trying hard not to be sarcastic. These rebel types could be ridiculously slow sometimes. Sure, Casement growled. Just let me put down the hook point scarf I was working on. Han rolled his eyes, slow and snippy. Anytime. Here it comes, Casement said. Got it, Quiller's voice confirmed. Han looked at Larone. Now what? Larone looked at Grave. Tell him he can go with our thanks. Our new friend says you can take off, Han said, relaying. Good flying. You too, Casement said, and thanks for your help, you and your new friends. There was a soft click as the contact was broken. There he goes, Quiller reported. So now all we have to do is hit up the HoloNet station and see what kind of messages they sent to systems along that vector, Han said. That pretty much what you had in mind, Luke? Yes, Luke confirmed, because Luke's been trying to get through this for a while, but it's taken Han some time to trust them. So they can't just search any HoloNet contacts because there are too many of them from that sector. But if they find out the ship's contacts along that vector, they can kind of narrow it down quite a bit and find a place to go search. They decide that that's what they're going to do, but they're going to keep Han, Luke, and Chewie basically prisoner. They bring the ship on board. They can connect it to their ship easily. And that not prisoner like, mistreated, but they just don't know if they can trust them yet. So they're just going to keep them on the Sawantech, what's the word? Sequestered to their rooms or whatever. And while they're going along here. The cabin door slid down on the glowering Wookiee. Larone double-checked the lock, and then he, Brightwater, and Grave returned to the lounge. There's definitely something off-key about them, Brightwater said. I just don't know what that is yet. So there's, they know something's different there, too. Markross says, I trust you weren't planning to show our guests our shiny white dress outfits. Not to worry, Larone said. As long as they stay locked in their cabins, we can come and go as we please. So that's their plan. Their plan is to go ahead and just keep Luke, Chewie, and Han locked up. Well, we know that's probably not going to work.
Yeah, I think there's a flaw in that plan.
I'm going to bring your mic volume down a little. Al, I think your mic's just slipping or something.
I got it up high. Maybe it's just reading me different. I don't know.
No problem. I can automatically adjust.
I had turned it down.
I can adjust it here to where I think it's very similar. So I think that'll work. Yeah. So I think that's what we're going to stop tonight. I don't want to keep going to chapter 13 because chapter 13 goes back to Mara and Tanis on their way to the Bloodscars base. And we get some cool things about their plan, but there's this really cool interrogation scene with the Commodore of the Pirates, as he calls himself, the head of the pirates, interrogating Mara. And we see some really cool things. We get a lot of plot points going on. It's very much like an espionage kind of story or thriller. There's a lot of plot. That's why, I usually don't like to sit there and summarize quite that much. I usually skip a little bit more, but there's so many little details that you kind of need to have cemented if you're going to continue following the story. So, we'll just have to go at the pace that we go at. But, Horizon Talker. Yes, lock up the people who escaped the Death Star. A winning plan. Exactly. You can pretty much guess how long they're going to stay locked up. So. It's good though. We're seeing this theme build because Zahn's good at themes and this theme of allegiance. And it's interesting, a Star Wars reader, to think, where is this going? Because we know it has to lead into Empire Strikes Back, in which there are no, the hand of judgment isn't part of that. Han's allegiance can't develop all the way to where it is in Return of the Jedi, because we still need to get through Empire Strikes Back and so forth. So we're slowly seeing it happen, but it's really cool where they take it in the end. And it's really cool where we take Mara in the end here too, because she has to show good character development being in this story, but we know that she doesn't, we know where she is at the time of the Thrawn trilogy. So we have to maintain her progression through that point. So it's really cool seeing how he works this and how he comes out in the end. So we'll continue building on that next time we're here.
Yeah, I need to stagger how I read these because we've gotten a little off kilter,
Mhm.
and I need to read these closer to the actual time we do because I'm sitting there like, what happened again?
Yeah, we changed to every other week, to where we do Lord of the Rings over on Catholic Bible Geek every other week, and then this one on the off weeks of that.
So I need to do Lord of the Rings this week, and then this one
Yeah.
like the weekend before we talk about it, so it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah, and we're actually doing Return of the King. We're starting Return of the King over there. So next Tuesday over on Catholic Bible Geek channel, we'll be doing Return of the King, which will be fun. We'll start into that. Exactly.
So where are we going to read to for next time? If we're going to still talk about 13, then
so it might be a shorter time of reading next time because we still need to talk about 13. Good question. Let me see.
Thank you. I thought so.
And then don't go away just yet, people, because I got some announcements for upcoming appearances and stuff like that coming up here. But so much happens in these next few chapters, which is so crazy. I mean, definitely 13, 14, and 15. That's probably it right there, to be honest.
Because it's 15.
Yeah, we should. I'm thinking we should probably bite off smaller pieces, just because so much is happening, And
Yeah,
and
everything's starting to come together, and
Mhm.
all the pieces are forming on the chessboard.
Yeah. So I'm going to say through 15. If I happen to go a little into 16, I'll let you know, Al, beforehand. But I think through 15 will probably do it. So we'll see. 13, 14, 15. So yeah, next week over on Catholic Bible Geek channel, Tuesday night, starting Return of the King. Tomorrow, though, over on Catholic Bible Geek channel, I'm starting my survey course through the Bible. So I'm going to start teaching like a little survey stream. That's just sort of a survey through the Bible. Not a Bible study, not a verse by verse, not sermons or anything like that. It's just sort of a survey course of the Bible, like I've taught before, of, understanding the general story of the Bible and how all the different books play in and so forth. So that's tomorrow night. On Thursday night, you remember, let me get the link to this guy. Remember Matt Wilkins, my friend who's the big Star Wars EU guy. He was on, I did a Inspiration of Heroes with him. He's the Arkansas guy with the accent. He's a really great guy, and he's really fun to talk to. And I'm going to be on his channel. He said we're going to be doing a stream about talking about the Legends banner on the EU books. Obviously, a lot of people, myself included, don't like any of those books in our collection. But are there pros and cons to the idea of it? To maybe buying those books, sending messages or whatever, So we're going to talk. He's going to have me and at least one or two, maybe other panel on there. I don't know how long it'll go or exactly how long I'll be on there. Let me find out the time there real quick, because check back my email that he said. But then that's Thursday for me. Friday, I'm not going to be doing any live streams or anything because I'm taking my dear sound engraver and my dear Alyssa to go to Busch Gardens. So it'll be fun.
Cool.
Yeah. So
they're open in winter.
Yeah, they're open. They were open for Christmas stuff, and now they're open for Mardi Gras season. Yeah, so it'll be fun for that. But that's
any beads are going to be flying.
It's a family oriented affair, Al. So if there
still throw beads, doesn't mean anything.
They'll have jesters with beads and stuff like that. Yeah.
See, you and your mind.
That takes me through Friday. What's going on Saturday, Al?
Well, Saturday on Netters Network is Beetlejuice. Going to be doing a rewatch of Beetlejuice at 10 p.m. Saturday night.
Mhm.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetlejuice is awesome. Awesome.
Yep. And
Um,
the following week is on my channel, we're going to be doing The Naked Gun, Tales for the Files of Police Squad with the great Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. Wonderful. Yeah. So I just looked it up. It's gonna be a little late night for me going to Busch Gardens the next day. But yeah, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Thursday on Matt Wilkins' channel is when we're doing that stream. He usually doesn't like to stream over an hour anyway, so it'll be fine. And yeah, so I have some guests on there, but it'll be fun. So that's the link I just put in the chat. That was to Matt Wilkins' channel. So yeah, so things going on pretty much just about every night here. Right up through. So
And definitely please check out my little ramble on the series that you do not want to be talking about, but I did a little ramble about it. And
Al has lots of reviews on his channel.
Yeah, I'm hoping if I can, well, I'll see how I'm feeling the next day or so. I have had a chance to get a little advanced preview of Uncharted.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you gonna give us any hints on that? Are you just gonna do a review?
Meh.
Yeah, I never played the games. I've heard good things about the games, but I never played them
Meh.
myself.
Meh.
From what I know about the games, the movie looks like it's taking a very weird. It's not really a
Meh.
true. Yeah,
I don't know the
okay.
game, but I'll just say it's not a bad film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's saying it's all. If Al says that, anybody else would say it's garbage.
Meh. It's MEH. Meh.
Yeah.
The
All right,
the
cool.
best gag in the entire film is Tom Holland's character, whatever, the main guy in the game, get like falls on a cargo parachute thing, and they wash up on an island where there's this resort, and there's this guy laying on the beach, and and Tom Holland explains what's happened to him, and he goes, "Yeah, something like that happened to me once," and it's the guy who played the character in the game.
Oh, nice.
I just thought it was a really kind of cute meta moment.
Yeah.
That's about the only real
Yeah.
part of it. It's dumb action. It's fine. It's nothing great.
Well, that wraps up our stream tonight then, folks. We got through it, and we're at just about the hour mark, a little over. So gonna go ahead and close this out. But thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow and the next day and all through for good stuff. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching. Oh, Soundgraver did answer your question though, Al. She did. She was making butter and herbs rice with garlic, spinach, onions, and red peppers with a hint of basil.
Roasted red peppers or plain red pepper?
I'll let you message her and ask her that.
Okay, just wondering. It's important.
But thank you guys. As always, until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you love. Thanks for watching.
Keep mom in your prayers.
Yes, keep Al and his mom in our prayers, certainly.